Morning, everybody. Welcome back. LOCPOD, Season 4, Episode 8.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Welcome back to me.
Welcome back to the locomotive.
Episode 101.
Yeah, thanks for missing 100.
I know.
Nobody could figure out what the flashing C was.
Shit happens, man.
It's true.
C happens.
Shit does happen, and I have to work. And
yes.
if I didn't do what I did, I would have lost my law license, and I'm still possibly in the, I still have to get
You probably have a couple
CLE
hours
credits.
left.
Yeah, as you know, we have continuing education as lawyers, and for the lawyers out there that are listening, I'm in my third year, which
always
means,
a dicey year.
yeah. And then we had the second year of my 3-year cycle
COVID.
was a pandemic, and I didn't really do much CLE.
Just
last
remember,
year.
you can do some online numbers too, credits too.
There's nothing
just
worse than online CLE.
We
not
just spent the
terrible.
last year and a half doing online learning. I think you can manage it for a class.
Maybe I'm
you wouldn't be a
talking-
good online student. Everyone's like,
I'm like-
what's wrong with online?
I know, like that's the thing now.
Well, if we had Phil in on Tuesday, he did a pretty good job.
Hammond schools are on lockdown again today.
Hammond are?
Speaking of
Lockdown?
no, online. They went e-learning because
E-learning.
now all of a sudden everybody wants to make threats on social media. You know, Snapchat and
Whoa,
it
nice
wasn't
of
just
people.
Hammond schools yesterday. It was a number of schools. These stupid freaking kids with dumbass parents. If your kid's posting that kind of crap on Snapchat, you're a shitty parent. Let's just be honest, right? Like if your kid is posting school shooting threats on Snapchat, you're an asshole of a parent. You're part of the problem in America right now.
What if the kid doesn't have
Patrick
a
and
parent?
Charlie do not.
Well, if
do
the kid
that
doesn't
this
have a
morning.
parent, the people that gave, that
gave
made
him
him
this.
are assholes. Like if one of them disappeared and he's not participating and his kid's posting this stuff on Snapchat,
Yeah, there's no discipline.
There's a problem.
There's no.
yeah, man.
There's a problem in that house.
There's a
Or
problem in
wherever they
America
live.
right now. There really is.
If kids are doing that, it's ridiculous. I mean, it just boggles
What do you mean
my
if
mind.
kids are doing it? They're doing it.
I'm
Yeah.
saying it just boggles my mind.
And police
They do
have
it.
to respond that way, Tom. I mean, you can't
Absolutely.
You can't say, "Oh, this is never going to happen." Let's just have school. And
The
then
one
it
day that
happens.
we,
Why not?
the one day that we
Why
don't
not?
respond.
because
Why
the
not?
one day it would happen.
Seriously, then they're going to keep doing it. Well, then what you do is you
Right.
put a guard at the door and you lock it down and just say, "Sorry, kids, you're in jail. Like you can't go anywhere because one of your students is an asshole."
Yeah.
And they post these threats on, and we're going to continue to educate you. And we have an armed guard at the door, but like you can't go anywhere. You can't go out in the playground. You can't go, go around
Right.
here. You got to do something, man.
Everything gets searched.
So
Everything,
like
yeah.
one
Yeah, that's the alternative. Right?
one
We have a
jerk
police
off
state
kid.
for
Right.
schools.
one kid could like disrupt a whole school system.
Well, we saw it happen at Hammond High. We saw it happen.
That's what I'm
in,
saying,
yeah.
though. Like, and first off, our judicial system is broken as far as like the juveniles, because these kids will make a Snapchat threat, they'll go get slapped on the wrist, and they'll be back in school 3 days later. It's like, so we're never going to go to school again because we always have these, these outlier kids that are like making threats.
Well, I mean, in the old days, it was like pull the fire alarm or like calling a bomb threat. Right now, it's like calling a mass shooting.
And that was what,
on
like
social
once
media.
a school year, maybe
Once
not
a
even
decade,
right,
or
right.
once a
and then
5
they would
years.
catch the kid, and the kid would go to jail.
He'd be suspended or expelled.
Right.
You
Nowadays, it's every day, and it's
I don't know if
on
they go to
social
jail,
media.
but-
In the early 2000s, when my husband was in high school, there was a kid who really wanted to get out of math class.
Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
In the early 2000s. And he would call in a bomb threat every day right before math class, and all the kids would file out of the school and wait in the football field right next to Clark. And it happened like pretty frequently for a couple of weeks until they found him because he was calling from a payphone back in the day.
You know the crazy thing about that story? That guy's a math teacher now.
Yeah. No, he's
sure
like
he's
working
not.
Wouldn't that
on,
be funny?
He's working on
He's like,
nuclear weapons for the country.
I love math. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this? So John, we found out after the show on Tuesday that Phil, it was raining, by the way, that Phil came into the studio and left his car door wide open, front driver door, just left it wide open.
Who does that?
Somebody that's
What, does he
either
live in-
drunk or asleep.
He lives in Mayberry. He's probably airing the car out. What the hell's going on in that car?
Yeah, they went downstairs.
That's
and somebody
typical
said,
behavior
It looks
for-
like a crime scene.
Yeah, because there's like a kid seat in there. So someone thought, "Is this a kidnapping? Did I just happened upon a kidnapping?"
So your staff ran out
Good
there
work, Phil.
and rolled the windows up?
Shut the door.
Was that a
The
city
door.
vehicle?
Yes, probably. Who knows?
Oh,
I have no idea what he
he's
drove
like,
here.
He's like soaking a city vehicle. That's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up in
All
the
right.
rain.
All right, we'll follow that up when I get back to work
Good
today.
work, Phil.
I don't think it was, but the fact is, it's pouring down rain. The doors are open. There's a kid's.
The door is open?
Yes, the door,
driver-
not just the window.
The driver's side door, wide open. Like
He walked
pulled
out
open.
and left his goddamn
Yes.
door open?
Yes.
to host
does
the
that?
show.
I know.
He definitely
drunk or
was not
asleep.
awake. Yeah.
He's like, shut my door, Jeeves.
Yeah. Johnny was waiting for you to go down and shut his door for him.
He like gets up to the studio. John, go shut my door.
You didn't even do that.
No,
He
no.
is the chief
I
of staff.
guarantee you.
He is the chief of staff.
Chief
you know?
of stuff.
You guys, as of last night, so I was like, we're playing video games. Like, Phil, you gonna watch tomorrow? He's like, yeah, maybe I got this golf outing or something. He
Of course
didn't
he
know.
does.
He did not know he left his door. I go, okay, well, we're going to talk about you, and there was something that happened you don't even know about. He didn't know.
No, he
he had
didn't
no
know.
clue he left his door open.
No idea.
You know.
Speaking of watching the show,
Right.
how'd you like Tuesday's episode?
It was good. What do you mean?
That
I
sounds
know-
like someone who didn't
I
watch.
know- I know you
see,
didn't watch.
Just because I called you in the middle of the show doesn't mean
yeah.
I didn't watch.
So this is a guy. Let's think about this. Mayor Tom has just like laid into probably. Let's see the following: his dad, Marissa,
Oh, yeah.
Aaron, for calling during the show.
That's right. Eva even called me in the middle
That's
of
right.
the show.
Eva,
once. Right.
Who gets a call at
No.
8:20
No.
I have an excuse.
in episode 100?
No.
I was on a different time
my phone
zone.
says Tom.
It was 8:30 where I was.
It was no, it wasn't. It was 8:20. It was 8:20 here.
All right.
Right in the middle of the
That's
show.
possible.
Somewhere else.
I was in a different time zone. Like when you're on a different
I
time
think
zone, you get an excuse.
that's a reasonable excuse.
Thank you, Lindsay.
It's
You're
not a
welcome.
reasonable
That's my daughter.
excuse
That's my
because
You
you
daughter.
don't
should
She
be
have
loves
to
watching.
watch it live. You could watch it.
Fair enough.
elsewhere.
I watched it. Okay, just
You
leave
didn't
at
watch
that.
it.
Yeah, I did,
No,
man.
you weren't. It's okay. It was just
I
episode
watched
100.
it. It's
John.
episode 100. I always watch. I'm a LOCPOD student. I know
Okay.
it.
If you watched it,
Yeah.
who were the guests?
It was Aaron and Pete Novak.
Correct.
All right.
That's
Lucky guesses.
See, I told you I watched.
Lucky guesses.
But you watch like it was like he read the thumbnail.
He read the thumbnail.
Their picture was in it. Their picture
That's
was
true.
on the
It was
thumbnail.
in the
Like,
thumbnail.
Oh, the thumbnail looks good. Oh, Pete and Aaron were on.
Okay.
That's right. There you go. So suck on that.
All right. If you watched,
on that.
then you could
right.
answer this question.
Oh. Why am I getting tested?
Because I don't think
here's
you
a
watched
real-
the show.
Real estate quiz question.
Oh, come on. What?
The most
What-
boring.
You guys did a
quiz
real estate
question.
quiz?
What do the Scottish do when they pay off their mortgage?
Everybody knows this now.
How the hell should I know what the hell the Scottish people
Boom!
do?
You didn't watch the show.
They do a jig, right? They play music. No,
Thank
I think
you.
the guy said they drink scotch, which is probably true.
they probably do. And then you know what else they do, John? They paint their door red. Okay,
Wow.
that's what they do. Eat that.
You weren't listening live.
I listened. I wasn't listening live.
Fair enough.
Because I was working.
Because you were calling me.
Did I listen to the show? Did I listen to the show?
On the way, probably on the drive back.
I listened to the show.
If you
Fair
know
enough.
that
By the
answer,
way,
you listen
I thought
to
you
the
guys
show.
did
we
a
like
good job.
subscriptions, by the way.
I like it. You guys did a
like
good job. I thought
subscriptions.
you guys did really well. I thought Phil was funny, as I usually do, and I thought Pete and Aaron did a good job. Good job. And
Nope.
yes, the Scottish do paint
no
their door red.
compliment
John
for
Desmar.
compliment for Kevin though.
Ama-
I thought,
The
I thought
caboose
Phil.
is
I
always
thought
there.
Phil was funny, and I thought Pete and Aaron did a great job.
It's like
You
Jill
guys
was
are-
outstanding.
Jill and
You
John were phenomenal.
I'm talking about the normal crew. You guys are always operating at a high level. Okay? Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad you listened to episode 100.
And by the way, I agree. I mean, I went to Napa High School, Napa, California.
Oh, yeah.
Which happens to be where our business manager just got married, right?
Well, of course you invited the mayor.
He didn't invite me. He didn't
Oh
even
my
ask. Like he
gosh.
didn't ask me any tips about Napa. Nothing. Like I guarantee you.
Wow.
Like
What does that say about what he thinks about you and Napa?
I told you. I mean,
Right?
well, all of us. Like we just
We're
got.
going on our own.
We didn't make the cut this year, obviously.
Did
huh?
anyone? Did they get married? Have we heard
They
from
got-
Steve?
they
They
got
got
married.
married and like 2 people went. It was very, very, very small.
And Karan looked beautiful.
Sounds very like fishy.
Steve definitely married up. I agree with you guys.
Yeah, he was wearing like
I did listen.
sneakers. Did you see?
Oh, sneakers.
Good
That's
for
good.
him.
Saw a picture. He's
In
just
case
like
he
in
has
a
to run
suit
after
and
bad
sneakers.
guys.
Marriage.
He's
Gotta
trying
be
to be so
married.
cool.
Marriage, and then you got on the other end. I'm looking through the stupid newspaper the other day. I always you look at the obituaries.
I do.
I started doing that a couple
I
years ago.
do.
Do you?
I do.
I do
Since I
too.
started working in the
I do.
medical field, I do.
The weird thing now is I do with a bit of trepidation.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, God, am I going to know somebody? It's
Yeah.
getting to that point, right? Like
I
or
always look
somebody's
at the pictures,
parent
and usually
or-
I'll see the picture. I'm like, I know that person.
Right.
But so one of the things I do is quick math on each of the unfortunately, recently
Deceased
passed.
folks.
And then I do math. Like I see when they were born, I'm like, damn,
I know.
younger than me.
I know.
Damn,
I
like
know.
my age.
I
Damn.
know.
Like, so the other day in the paper, there's 4 people in their 50s. Like
That's-
all of them, like
that's
my age.
unusual.
Dude. No kidding.
That's
you usually don't
unusual.
see that.
Right.
I saw
I agree.
4, and I'm like, it's got to be COVID, right?
Maybe.
Like you would, like you don't see that very often because I'm still in the age where usually when people pass, it's like a car crash or something unfortunate.
If you're our age, right.
Right. Usually, if you make it into your 50s, you're going to make
Terminal
it
illness.
Right. But in this particular episode of the paper I was looking at, there was 4 people in their lower 50s that passed on the same day or two.
So,
you know,
you'd probably say maybe 1, maybe 2 of them were COVID.
How about this?
Maybe
Couple celebrities also, Kevin. That guy from The Wire, Omar. Well, he was like 53.
That was COVID, I think, related. No,
That was drugs.
No, drugs. Yeah,
but
yeah,
still.
drugs, COVID.
How about Sex and the City? That guy yesterday.
That was
the gay best friend.
That was a
Oh,
bit
man.
shocking.
Yeah.
I love-
57.
That guy was great.
agreed.
Right. That's crazy,
57.
right?
Yeah, we don't like to hear. I don't like to hear about people dying in my decade.
I'm a closet Sex and the City fan.
Whoa,
by the way. Not anymore.
when you were
though.
saying that as it was coming out, I was like, "What is John about to say?"
No, really.
I'm a closet sex, and then
Amy turned
in the
me
city.
onto it.
Yeah, Sex and the City's
So
great.
that
show.
one really sucked. To hear.
That's a great show.
Marissa and I have this conversation with her that if I go early, that she could start
If you
dating.
go in your 50s,
I tell her that. I want you to date again.
Oh,
Yes.
she would
I want you to
fine.
marry
like
again.
immediately,
No, we have a rule.
eventually.
We have a rule.
All right,
Yeah.
you discussed this.
I totally discussed this.
All right.
Marissa knows how I feel. Lindsay knows this rule.
Linz, do you know the rule?
I have a rule with Brian. Yeah,
What's the rule?
Whoa.
he has to get a tattoo in honor of me first.
Where? In his private
On his
parts?
forehead.
Like,
It's
real
his
close to his
decision.
forehead. On his neck.
Lindsay.
It's visible.
Lindsay's property.
All right, I'll enforce that for you, baby, okay?
Thank you.
I'll be like, Brian, she said it was close to your junk.
On the tattoo.
my.
Yeah, right. So anyway, this is our thumb rule. And it's a very good thumb rule. I think it should be like law, like adopted Indiana code, you know?
I can't wait to hear this.
You never heard my
Wait,
rule?
Lindsay, is the tattoo the only rule? That's it
I don't think so.
on your
Tom.
end?
Lindsay, my rule is way better than a tattoo.
I mean,
So
I
after
think,
tattoo,
in my
it's
opinion,
like-
my rule's cooler, but
No. My
All right.
rule is just clear. It's like gives honor in terms of how long you were married.
Oh yeah, you could get a tattoo in probably a
Well,
day.
what is
But
it?
like, let's take Lindsay.
isn't
for
it like a
example.
month for every year?
Yeah, see?
Oh,
That's
she
my
knows
daughter.
the rule.
She
This
does
is
know
the
the rule.
McDermott-
We've talked
the
about this
McDermott
plenty
rule.
of times in my
Yeah.
household. Okay, because like I've known people that have lost their spouse.
Yeah,
and then
sad.
they don't. And I've known quite a few people. You know.
Yeah, we all do.
That either a divorce or a spouse, and they don't get remarried, and they like go for decades. You know. Without a spouse, which is sad to me because like
their choice.
it is
sad.
their choice. It is their choice. But some people just take themselves out of the game because they don't want to appear disrespectful. And I get that, man. Okay. I totally understand. But it's sad to me because I think that you only get one life to live and you should live life to the fullest. And if you have a horrible tragedy that happens in your family, that you should bounce back, you know,
Why
and
can't you just
I want
date,
that.
though?
If
Why
I
do you have
die
to get
young,
remarried?
if I die young, I want Marissa to have somebody else. I do. And I'm straight up saying
Sure.
it on my pod, but she has to follow the rules.
Noted.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Duly noted.
Okay, but she has to follow the rules. So as long as I'm laying it down and saying you got the green
And
light,
if
baby,
she doesn't follow the rules, you're
Is
going to
this-
haunt her.
Is this
That's
to
right.
date or
That's
to
right,
get
Lindsay.
remarried, Tom?
to publicly be with somebody else.
All right, public. So it doesn't
Okay.
mean you have to get remarried.
You can privately do whatever you want.
You could
If
date.
she's smart enough behind closed doors to hide it from the public, good for you, baby.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Who are you
But-
talking to?
So I'm talking to Marissa.
I was like,
But this is a good thumb rule. This is a good thumb rule. Okay. So this is the thumb rule.
Tom's soliloquy to Marissa.
Let's take Steve and Karen. Okay. They got married last week, right? Let's say
Yes.
Steve passes away in a horrible tragedy. Like
today, like hiking
Yeah,
somewhere in
right,
California, he
right.
falls off the
Whoa.
cliff.
So does Karen have
'Cause
to
he's
go the
wearing
rest
those
of
tennis shoes.
Does Karen have to go the rest of her life without ever marrying again? That would
Well,
be
no, she's
ridiculous.
like 3 days in.
She's 3 days in. I mean,
but they've
it's
been
just
dating for a couple
it's just
years,
like
too.
if
That
Steve
doesn't count.
passes in a horrible tragedy, Karen's going to be scarred.
Yeah.
And then under my thumb rule, she has to after the funeral wait 1 month
Why a month? She only
because
did
she's
3
been
days.
married less than a year.
But it's proportionally.
It's just
So
you know,
minimum's a
it's
month.
respect. Yeah, it's respect.
minimum's a month.
Dude.
God, she just got
No.
married. She can't get
No,
married like 2
no,
weeks later,
no.
right?
Tom, a month? That's it?
A month for every year.
In such a new relationship, I think you should highly consider
you,
including the
Lindsay.
dating.
Thank you,
Yes.
Lindsay.
The years.
This is publicly too.
They've
She
been
can
together
privately
for
do whatever
about
she wants.
5
Okay.
years
So
now?
like in Lindsay's case, let's say
She's like
Lindsay's got a
6
year
months.
and change. Year and change. Right? Is it a year yet? It is.
We got married in December.
Okay. So let's say Lindsay's case, same thing.
Say about a
1
year.
month.
1 month.
All right,
right?
Brian, there
No
you go.
way.
It's going to take much
Yeah.
longer than that.
So, John, how long
For
you been
5
married, John?
years.
11 years.
Okay, so John passes
11
away in a
months.
horrible tragedy, right?
1 year.
Amy has
11
after
months.
the funeral. She can't start dating before the funeral, and then she's got 11 months.
It's incentive to get a quick funeral.
Yeah, you like turn it around quick because you got to start looking,
the
right?
clock's
You have
ticking.
all these
See, Marissa
attractive women.
owes me almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but like privately, she can do whatever she wants.
2 years.
2 years publicly from the day of my funeral.
So what if
You can't
like,
start dating before the funeral's over. Like going back to Karin.
So like
if Steve passes, she can't date before the funeral's over. We agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But wait, let me ask you this. Let me fast forward it. Let's say like somebody your dad's age, and
Yeah.
let's say he's been married like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wait 5 years. I mean, you don't have a lot of time left.
50.
If you're like
That's a good
75,
50 months.
let's say if you're 50 months
Publicly.
50 months is 4 years.
Just do it.
He's stressing
Just
it
like-
if I'm
publicly.
75,
Dude, I thought
I gotta
all the angles out. I thought all
wait,
these angles
If I'm
out.
75, I got to wait till I'm 79.
Yes.
Man,
No.
no way.
Yes.
Are you really going
That's
to
cruel.
date when you're 79?
I don't
No.
know. I'm just giving an
Kevin,
example.
I feel
Kevin,
like
this
dating
is where-
Kevin's
79
got a
is the new-
libido.
is the new
He's-
50.
This is
Lynn.
where the word publicly
Okay.
plays an important role, Kevin, okay? You don't get married for 4 years. You just got out of a 50-year relationship,
Sure,
right?
okay.
Publicly, you got to like be discreet about it.
All right, so
you
you
got to
got
go
4
behind
years.
closed
I think
doors.
when
You could
you're at that
date,
age, you have
take her
more
out of town or something. You know what I'm
pressing
saying?
issues.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't do it publicly. Publicly, after 50 months, you're like, bam, this is my new woman. She's
74.
sort of like
She's a hot young
65.
thing,
Yeah.
65
I'm dating a
years
younger
old.
woman, right?
All right. All right.
Okay, can we dig into the early part of the relationship though?
Sure.
I think if you're married, you're just married, like Steve and Karin.
Mm-hmm. 3 days.
I think that 1 month thing is too soon. There should be like a
minimum.
like a minimum
It's
6
just-
month.
I'm with
Really?
you. I
Minimum
agree.
6 months.
Dude,
I'm willing
a
to
month.
entertain this. I'm willing to entertain this. I think that's a good
An
point.
amendment to the rule.
So, like in Lindsay's case, it would also apply.
6 months.
All right, I'm in.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
You guys, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Yeah,
aye.
Aye.
But then on the
Opposed?
Rule.
Lindsay.
Lindsay, you
Lindsay's
opposed?
opposed.
She
You
wants
wanna
to
get
date
back
right
out
away.
there?
She
She's
wants
like,
to date
wow.
right
I
away.
want 1
No.
month.
She's like, I don't think I should have to wait for the funeral.
wow, she's gonna bring a date to the
The
funeral. This is
implications
so
of this
morbid.
conversation about
Wait,
my character.
Where's your tattoo of Brian going to be
I
if he
don't know.
passes
We haven't
away?
decided.
No, we're going to skip the whole tattoo rule and just go right into Tom
You-
Stumrow for
you're
dating.
just going to make this decision about mine.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to, I'm
He's
going
the
to
locomotive.
I'm going to
Lynn,
float
remember?
this to Governor Holcomb. I'm going to try to get this placed into law across the state of Indiana.
You'll
It'll make
float
life a
that.
lot better. It'll clear up all the ambiguities about
Great
when you can start
legislation.
dating again. It is.
Just go in the probate code.
It should
Title
go to probate.
29.
Okay, well, I'm
right.
on it. All right, so 3-1, we agree. I'll
Yeah.
approach Governor Holcomb with this idea. Thanks,
Lindsay,
LOCPOD.
Lindsay in dissent. All
right.
right, let's get some business out of the way. Lindsay, your spiel, please.
Right now?
Sure. Right after as she's contemplating Brian's death.
She's on Bumble already.
Wait a minute. She's like, we're going to get that tattoo.
And the first assumption is that I.
How big does the tattoo have to be? It's like a little
These are all
thumbnail.
questions.
And maybe
that-
we should come up with like
It's
a
on my toe.
minimum price that you have to pay for it and for this tattoo.
It's a little
Okay.
dot.
This is how she sees Earth from heaven. Okay, you're listening to Left of Center, where we cover everything from politics to important events of the day in the Midwest and the nation, all while having way too much fun while doing it. If you can't get enough of us, you can follow us on Twitter at LOCPOD LOCPOD or on Facebook at Left of Center Podcast. If you cannot listen in live, you can always download our episodes from the Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio apps. All you need to do is search Left of Center and look for our red and blue logo. Also, if you would like to do an ad on our show, you are more than welcome to send an email to steve@locpod.com. That's STEVE at LOCPOD.com. And bother him on his honeymoon. So
Yes. Well,
Go
Steve,
do
he
it.
hasn't answered, by the way. So
Yeah.
He said he's not getting any more nudes, so I thank everybody for
Thank you,
stop
Phil.
sending that to steve@lockpod.com. I mean, it's disgusting what was going on before. Powering America, premier sponsor.
I'm sure they love that coming right out of that.
Sure. Let me throw up this disclaimer. Hold on.
Thank you. You better, yeah.
The views expressed by the host on this do not reflect.
Our advertising.
In any way, our sponsors are advertisers.
Season 4 is powered by our premier sponsoring, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, who do you call? Powering America to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle charges and solar power solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of Powering America. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. That's poweringnorthwestindiana.org.
Thank you, Powering America.
Our premier sponsor.
Tri-Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Didn't it used to be end-to-end?
They
Tri-Electronics.
stopped because John kept whispering,
yeah.
and he kept going
Tri-
end to end, and they were like, then they
Tri-Electronics.
changed the script.
You're right.
Yeah, that's exactly
Thank
what
you,
happened.
Steve. He has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. We're dedicated to assisting their clients. They are dedicated to assisting their clients with their systems integration needs. They have the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Try Electronics today at 800-722-6793.
Grisolia's Concrete. Grisolia's Concrete was voted number 1 in the Times Best of the Region in 2020 and 2021. Grisolia's Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they have been using the original cement finish in the...
There it is. It's back. I would listen just for that. I would
California
listen
style.
to a podcast just for Tom to
That's
do that.
right.
That's why it's good when the
I know.
locomotive's back in town.
California style since 1972, and also offers stamped and colored concrete. For more information or a project quote, call Grisolia's Concrete at 219-659-4127. That's 219-659-4127.
Midwest Air Duct Cleaning. At Midwest Air Duct Cleaning, your health is their number one priority. They're dedicated to providing top-notch quality services at an affordable price. Their technicians have been trained to shelter the members of your household from potential airborne contaminants. Sounds like a warning. If you would like more information on how to protect the lungs of your home, call Marinko and his team at 219-671-8868 today.
Calumet Brewery. Calumet Brewery wants to tell you about Michelob Ultra. Tell me, please.
You know what?
Yes, sir.
I was somewhere, maybe it was Indianapolis, maybe it was somewhere else, and I got a Michelob Ultra because I saw
I was
it.
with you.
Yes.
I was with you.
Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Where was that? I don't remember.
Shelbyville. They had it at
Shelbyville.
I got
That's
a
exactly
Michelob
where it
Ultra. It was
That's
it was in the case, and I was like, I'll have a Michelob Ultra.
Good for you. See, Calumet Brewery.
Advertising works.
Thank you, Calumet Brewery, for sponsoring LOCPOD. Even though I don't believe the Michelob Ultra you drank came from Calumet Brewery. It was probably
Well, that's okay. It's all about the product.
It is about the product.
Michelob's it helps with sales.
I don't think Calumet Brewery is nodding in agreement, though. They want you to drink.
Well,
they want you to drink the local Michelob Ultras,
all right.
not the ones.
I'll do it. All
right, anyway. Calumet Brewery wants to tell you about Michelob
Anyway.
Ultra. Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, all while being one of the fastest growing brands in the region. Or you could try Ultra Pure Gold, an organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories, brewed for your healthy lifestyle. Enter to win a Michelob Ultra golf bag through calbrew.com. That's CALBREW.com. Check out Calumet Brewery's Facebook page for details.
Let's talk some submarines.
Wait.
Yo.
I just got a text from someone. I need to clear something up.
All right.
They sent a screenshot of the stream, and there's two words under it that says restricted chat. And I want to explain what that means because we don't censor here on LOCPOD.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
by
What's
the
up
way.
with that?
All that means is it's a universal restriction for the stream. Any commenter, their account must be at least 2 weeks old. That prevents spammers and stuff, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's it. There is no censorship on the chat.
Thank
There's
you,
no
John.
censorship.
Your First Amendment rights are intact here on LOCPOD.
Oh, anything
Unless we
goes.
don't like what
Come
you
on.
say.
Yeah, anything goes.
Who got sassy with you enough to be like, you're restricting my rights?
I'm not
on
going to
LOCPOD?
say. It was just a
Liberals.
general question
Nick
from a
By the
group
way,
friend. That's all.
For the
They wanna
record,
know what
let's
it meant.
do a little constitutional law for a second here. We cannot censor your constitutional right. We can actually
Sure we
censor your
could.
constitutional rights.
Yes.
As
Yes.
government, when Kevin and I go to work, we can't do it there.
No.
Because that's government. But yeah, if you're like a boss and you tell your employees, I don't want you commenting about politics, and you're like, that's
do
my
that.
constitutional right to talk about politics.
Not in this office.
That's right.
Sonny.
They could fire you for
Sonny
it.
boy.
So, like, you know, people are free to, violate the Constitution. Just look in Texas, where people are violating a woman's constitutional right to choose. And they're getting sued for performing abortions right now by private citizens.
Well, remember when the whole, the cake baker didn't want to bake a cake for a gay wedding?
That's right.
Sure. Have at it. Your private business.
Can't
That's
have
right.
it both ways.
Let's talk about some Navy and submarines.
I love it, when submarines become
Submarines
the
are in the
topic.
news.
They are in the news.
John, this was crazy, right?
What?
So,
What a bizarre story.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was muted.
like submarines and international
It wasn't that bizarre to
intrigue.
me. I understand, like, why, in this case, I understand why Australia would rather have U.S. Navy submarines as opposed to diesel-powered submarines from France.
Yeah, so the background in this article is that last week it came out that the British and the Americans were doing like a secret closed-door deal with the Australians to sell a gazillion billions and billions of dollars in submarines.
66 billion, I believe.
And basically screwed the French over, who had another deal with the Australians to sell 66 billion in submarines over 25 years. Right. So it's crazy.
I'm sure our deal is probably worth more than 66
Without
billion,
a doubt.
because Navy nuclear subs are way more complex.
As a
obviously.
submariner, Tom, explain the difference, because this was intriguing.
That's right.
To
I
me.
was on, for those of you that aren't aware, we have a lot of new people tuning in right now. I was on a U.S. Navy submarine when I was in the United States Navy, Hyman G. Rickover, SSN 709, which is it's a nuclear fast attack submarine. We carried nuclear weapons. It was powered by nuclear power. So.
Does the U.S. Navy have any diesel subs?
No.
So it is a complete nuclear Navy.
Submarines.
And
I bet you 95% of the surface ships are also nuclear.
Really?
Interesting fact about nuclear power, which is why I'm a huge proponent of nuclear power, which I also believe is green energy. The only problem with nuclear power is what to do with the spent fuel once it's done. And that usually takes a couple decades before you have to worry about that problem. But that is a major problem. What do we do with the spent fuel? If we went all nuclear and had like a designated area in the world where we put our spent fuel, we could power the world clean.
Wow.
And then you would have to have an adequate design like they didn't have at Fukushima, like they didn't have at Chernobyl. I know a lot about nuclear power. Okay. So what happened in this case? Well, United States Navy has hundreds of nuclear reactors operating right now. Has never had a nuclear accident.
Why are
never had a nuclear accident?
That's amazing.
United States Navy, hundreds and hundreds are operating right now, and they have been through my entire 18 years as mayor. They have been since basically the early 1970s. Never had a nuclear
Why is
accident.
nuclear power better than diesel as far as subs go?
Well, first off,
Why would Australia be like, yeah, we want nuclear?
Diesel is gas, which means you have to get supplied. Like when I go underwater in the sub, on the Navy nuclear sub, we don't have to come home. You know what runs out first?
Food.
Wow.
Absolutely. Food is the limiting factor.
So that's
Toilet
what drives
paper.
So
it.
when we're packing toilet paper, supplies, that's what brings us home. I was on we were out one time, and I can't really talk about where we were, but when we were out one time, we get relieved. You have like a box. It's a big box, and you just patrol the box, okay? And we were off the coast of a hostile country, okay? And while we were patrolling this box, we had another submarine that was supposed to relieve us. And this submarine got into like a shipwreck.
Wow.
They ran ashore, actually, right off the coast of Key
sub?
West. A submarine did. And it was like stuck in coral. And it damaged the sub enough to where it couldn't relieve us. We didn't know this was going on. We were underwater. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have email, and they didn't have the internet and stuff like that. All we know is we're supposed to be leaving this box, and we're not leaving. We're doing circles.
So you're getting no communications? Like not even like
the captain does, and they didn't tell us, but we don't understand what's happening.
Right.
We just know we got screwed. We're supposed to be coming home, and we're doing circles in the ocean still.
Everyone's
Okay?
excited to see their family.
No, you're not happy at all. You're
Right.
pissy. You're
Absolutely.
like, God damn, I've been out here for freaking 60 days. I want
Right.
to go home.
Right.
And now our relief is messed up. They ran aground, right? So basically, we were eating peanut butter and jelly for the last couple weeks of that. And I'm not BSing, like literally every meal, every day, because that's all we had left.
So food is kind of the thing that brings you in. If you I'm just not that this is possible, but if you had a totally robotic submarine, could it just go forever underwater as a nuclear sub?
Yeah. If you could figure out like artificial intelligence and teach them how to run a nuclear reactor, and absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, and so
They would never have to come home.
Conversely, what about a diesel?
A diesel runs out of gas and diesel fuel. And when it runs out of diesel fuel, they rely on battery, and then the battery eventually runs out.
But doesn't
a
a diesel engine need air? Like, how does it get air underwater?
So a diesel, when you're snorkeling, first off, keep in mind submarines are supposed to be quiet, right?
Right.
When you're running a diesel engine,
It's
it
not
is
that
the
quiet.
exact opposite. Everybody within miles could hear it. So
I'm sure you've all heard a semi truck before. Those things are loud.
right. And can you imagine?
Is it similar? Like
It's
that kind of
super
noise?
loud.
Okay.
It's super loud.
Wow.
It's louder than a semi-truck, way louder. And it's underwater. When the diesel engine, so the submarine gets close enough to the surface where it puts up its snorkel mast, which sticks out of the surface of the water, and it's literally like right above the water, and it's sucking air into the diesel engine, which is in the submarine, and then the exhaust from the diesel engine goes out through the sail, which is the big thing that sticks out of the water that you always see the captain on, and it exhausts through the sail. So we leave bubbles behind us. And then if the diesel intake goes underwater, it'll absorb a bunch of water. It could flood the diesel out. So you got to stay above the water.
Yes, that's interesting, right? I mean, you could see why Australia would want to have nuclear subs instead
It's shocking
of
to me
diesel
that
subs.
why would anybody buy a diesel sub?
For sure.
That right.
It makes
After
no
hearing
sense.
this,
Right. It makes no sense. They're super loud. They're not. You're not. If you're going to fight the Chinese who have nuclear subs, like you're going to have a diesel sub, they're going to just pick
let me
you
shovel
up.
coal into the
Well,
engine.
and Australia is an important ally in the Pacific, right? I mean, this is an interesting like shift of kind of like global political, like where's the threat?
Right.
Let's buy
Used to be
them some
Russia, right?
subs.
So it was Russia. The Cold War is like Russia, so Europe had to be protected.
Right.
But now it looks like it's almost like, hey, we're more concerned about Indo-Pacific and
True.
Asian Pacific theater.
What'd you
type
say,
stuff.
honey?
We should just buy France some new subs because
There you
that's
go.
just not
Help
going
them
to
out.
do it.
It's
That's
shocking to me that I don't remember seeing French submarines. No, when I was in the Navy, I was on the submarine from 89 to 94. Okay. And we saw nothing but Russian subs. That's what we
Were they
chased.
nuclear or were
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Red
Well,
Hot
no,
Chili
not all
Peppers.
of them, by the way. No, there was nuclear Russian subs.
What about
but,
Chinese subs?
Never.
Wow.
Never one time. I never one time saw.
They
a
must have
Chinese,
really
or
kicked
even
it
heard
in.
about a Chinese sub. Granted, I was
sure
on the
they
East
had
Coast.
'em.
I was on the East Coast. Maybe
Maybe
it would
they
have
were
been
just
different if I was
sneakier.
stationed on the West Coast.
Right.
I was in the Atlantic, around the Mediterranean area, around the North Sea of Russia. That's where I.
So
was.
you would think the Russians have them on Pacific and Atlantic. Well, we have them too,
They
right?
do.
We do.
The
and we
Russians
do
have
too.
them on the Pacific and the Atlantic.
And we
so
do
does
too.
America, right?
Yeah.
But I never experienced a Chinese sub. I saw British, French. We saw sailors from all. I believe we ran into Australians one
I
time.
think Dutch have submarines.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well,
But
the French were pissed, and I thought some of the. I mean,
the French were pissed.
and
But
it was kind of funny.
they recalled their ambassador.
Think about that.
Wow.
Recalled the ambassador for like a week.
So explain this in a nutshell.
Right.
What were they? Because
They felt like we screwed them.
Yeah.
We went behind their back. And we're allies. We're in NATO together. And we went secretly to Australia and made a deal with them and stole a huge contract that France thought that they were going to
John, do
fulfill.
you have the French foreign minister
With
pissed
an-
off?
like-
$6 billion.
With
66
an
billion.
inferior submarine.
With an inferior
Yes,
submarine, for sure,
yes.
Lindsay.
So why are they like?
Because they're like,
mad
why would you do
about
this to
it?
an? Why wouldn't you tell us? Just tell us.
Maybe
Wouldn't
they're
you
mi-
want your allies to have better equipment? Like,
I
But they
agree.
didn't know. It was
Especially-
think about if you're in the French submarine industry. Like
Right.
you're planning this for
Right.
25
66
years.
billion.
Six,
I
over.
can
I
see
mean,
why they'd be pissed.
they were
but, like,
pissed.
Yeah.
Check
You know, like
out how
allies-
pissed they were.
Oh, here we go. Look at, and this is so French.
C'est
by the
vraiment
way.
en bon français un coup dans le dos.
I love listening to
Nous
people
avions
who are angry
établi
and
avec
speaking French.
l'Australie
How does
une
anybody
relation
know
de
what the hell he's
confiance.
saying?
It just listen to
Cette
French. It just
confiance
listen
est
to
trahie.
French. It just sounds good.
The
Et
trust
je
was
suis aujourd'hui
betrayed.
en
He's saying,
colère,
I'm angry
avec
today
beaucoup d'amertume
with a lot of
sur
bitterness
cette
about
rupture.
this breach of
vous avez
contract.
D'autant plus que ça ne
This
se fait pas
is
entre
not
alliés.
done between allies.
Et ça ne se
Especially
fait pas
when
en plus
when
quand il
there's
y a
been 2
eu
years
d'abord
of
2 ans de
negotiations
négociations
for
pour
this
ce
contract.
contrat.
nice to hear
Je suis
French.
vraiment très en colère.
I'm
Et
very
Okay, why don't we-
angry.
ce qui me
All right,
préoccupe
they're pissed,
aussi dans
and
tout
it's
cela,
French, and
c'est
we're not
finalement
French
aussi
people.
This
I love
is
listening to
not the
French.
behavior of the
Because
Americans.
you understand it. Like you're like one of the 1% that actually took this
It was
language.
just funny to hear him pissed off in
Do you
French.
understand? Like if you weren't reading it, could you
A
understand?
little bit, probably 25% of it.
That's like
Really?
me with
yeah,
Spanish.
probably 25%.
You know French,
See, I
Kevin?
do
7 years of
Spanish,
French,
too.
John.
You understand?
Holy
You do,
cow.
right, Linz?
I'm getting a Spanish minor.
Yeah, I
Uncle-
could. People could speak Spanish to me, and I can understand what they're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
I don't understand exactly what they're saying, but I understand the gist of it usually. And is that how you are with French?
Yeah, a little bit. Like he said, dans le dos, that's like in the back, and he said
Stab it, that was stabbed in the
en
back.
colère, which is I'm like angry.
Yeah, I'm
right?
pissed.
Stuff like I'm
Oh.
color, right? So
Kevin,
right.
you're so worldly.
But you know what the funny thing was about this? Like John said, they recalled the ambassador. Which think about it, they recalled the ambassador to Paris. Macron would not take Biden's calls for like 3 days. Like f you,
Right.
And then they can't. This is my favorite part. The Paris scrapped the 240th anniversary of the Battle of the Capes event. The gala meant to take place Friday evening at the French embassy.
Because of contract. for-
Yeah. And aboard a French frigate in Baltimore, a French official told the Times the event was meant to celebrate the French Navy's aid to America's fight for independence in 1781.
See, the thing is,
So French, cancel a party.
for those of you that want to say that Biden is bungling foreign
Merde.
relations, I think he did exactly the right thing in this. I think Australia is going to be a new strategic partner
Agree.
of America. I think we got to shift our attention. Not that we're going to ignore Europe, but we need to shift our attention over to the to Indochina
China.
and to the Pacific, and to watch what China's doing. They're creating islands out in the middle of the ocean so that they could put air bases there, so that they could fortify their defense.
Kind of like island
that's
hopping in World War II, right?
Right, but like they're making islands. They literally
Crazy.
are making an island in the middle of the ocean just for military purposes. And they're, I mean, we got to start paying attention to what's over there. And I think that if the Australian Navy has nuclear powered submarines, it's going to make them that much more formidable.
And it's going to have an ally in the Pacific that's going to be very helpful With the
And
cons-
And they're going to
what
have the superior equipment.
That's right. What
Right.
the French were trying to do to sell diesel subs to Australia wouldn't have helped Australia. They
not-
would have just burdened them with shitty submarines. Believe me, I was on them. We could hear them from miles away. Our submarines were silent. They were silent. You can't even find us. If we don't want to be found, you cannot find us.
Would you have to surface as a nuclear sub or no?
No.
No. So that's a big difference.
No.
Like they had to the
We don't
diesel
need-
subs have to surface.
Yeah, they have to get up close enough to the surface to
To
pull
snorkel.
air in. To pull air in. Right. We
Well,
never
so
had
they have to
surface.
constantly be at the surface.
They would do it during the nighttime.
Not every day though.
Yeah.
Every
they
day?
have to charge their batteries.
Wow.
That's stupid.
And then in the daytime, because like at nighttime they could put their snorkel mast above the water without being seen.
You
okay?
think that'd be
So
easy
was
target?
this contract?
You
with
could
the,
you could hear it. You could hear it from miles. But they at nighttime they would put their snorkel mast up. They would pull in. They would run the diesel. They'd charge their batteries, and then during the daytime they go silent
You would
again.
think
And
that'd
by the
be so
way,
easy to blow up in
when
a
they are
war.
operating, it would be Kevin. It would be. And
Especially
during
today?
and during the daytime, they're silent. If they're running on battery, they're silent.
Yeah, but they got to come up. I mean, today with
They gotta
GPS
come up
and
once a
everything,
day.
just blow them out of the
They got
water.
to come up once a day.
Oh, that's crazy.
Who wants those submarines?
Not Australia, obviously.
I know. Biden did the right thing, and I know he pissed off France doing it, and I know France is important. We spilled a lot of blood in
They should have
France.
just told them.
Right, Kevin? We
Yeah,
spilled a lot of blood in
absolutely.
France. World War One and
Absolutely.
World War Two. We
And they've
spilled
been good at
American,
they're our oldest ally.
Absolutely. They helped us win the Revolutionary War.
Lafayette.
We spilled a lot of blood in their country,
Marquis
and we
de
will in the
Lafayette.
future if anything
the Marquis.
happens. We will again in the future. You know, because that's our ally. But what
We should
Biden's
have just
doing,
told them up front.
what Biden's doing is smart.
Yeah.
And it makes Australian Navy that much more powerful.
So-
So I know a lot of people want to beat up on Biden, but I know what I'm talking about on submarines. He did the right thing for Australia in this case.
And
for
I'm sure it's been going on for a couple of years. This could have started with
This
Trump. Who
probably
knows?
did start
Yeah.
under Trump.
Yep.
In fact, that was what Macron
French said,
Yeah,
yeah.
they said this is very Trump-like. what's a,
I thought
which
the
means you're being
president
an
of
asshole.
France liked Trump.
No.
No.
They don't like
None
him
of
at
the
all.
Europeans
No,
like
Macron
Trump. Right.
snubbed him. He gave him like the French nose up.
right?
All right. Well, let's shift over to your adventures of the week. You were gone. I mean, there was a reason you were gone Tuesday besides just getting legal ed credits.
Oh yeah, I was on the road again.
Kind of like kind of doing some campaign stops, which was a lot of fun. Started last Sunday.
We should do this like a regular segment. Like so I'll update where
Where
I've
did
been
Tom go this last week?
because it's going to be busy next year for me.
For
And,
sure.
You know, I think this is going to be like my journal. It'll be LOCPOD will be where I'll explain what I did, who I met with, how it was, you know, and should get more interesting as time goes on. But so this week we started. We went to South Bend to St. Joseph County Democratic Lunch in
That was really cool.
Potawatomi Park in
Yes.
South Bend. It was.
I'd never been to that part of South Bend.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I'd never been in that park. Tommy was born just about a mile from where
Yeah,
we were.
when you were at Notre Dame, sure.
But that hospital's not even there anymore.
Huh.
South Bend's changed a lot, even since Marissa and I left.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Thanks, Buttigieg.
I think no, definitely. But they've had real good mayors. Steve Lickey was first off. Let's go before Lickey was Joe
Kernan.
Kernan, who was one of my heroes. Is one of my heroes in politics. Still love the guy, even though he's no longer with us. Steve Lickey was after Joe Kernan, mayor of South Bend. He was a great mayor. Him and I were elected at the same time, or he was mayor when I came in, but he was brand new also. We were good friends. He did like 2 terms and left. Pete Buttigieg then took over and did 2 terms as mayor and then left. I don't know what Pete Buttigieg is doing. Let me see. I just sort of lost track of that guy.
It's around
He's got a
somewhere.
podcast, I think.
I think he's a podcaster.
He's got
yeah.
some infrastructure
Something like
to
that.
worry about.
Yeah, so obviously Secretary Pete moved on to Washington, D.C. after running for president, and then James Mueller took over.
First time I met him. Nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
And thanks to Jason Critchlow and all our friends out in South Bend. You saw several of the state reps that were there.
Yeah,
Niskoski was there.
Senator
and-
Niskoski.
Yeah,
right?
Senator. I'm sorry. Right.
So, yeah, that was a good stop. Actually, it was, 100 people. And first time in my career, John, Lindsay, you guys know what a tracker is?
Yeah.
Nope.
John's like, yep.
Oh, wait, that's a guy who follows around politicians.
Yep.
John, you sounded like you've
camera
been
on.
one or something. You're like, yeah,
John
yeah,
probably-
I know what a tracker
He's
is.
probably talking to Young's campaign right
John
now.
is a tracker.
John's tracking you right now. He's like,
My tracker's a local guy, though. He's a
yeah, he's
Munster
from
guy.
Munster.
Yeah, drove out to
Went to
South Bend.
St. Tom's. I was
and
like,
seemed like a nice guy.
yeah,
but-
actually, I dropped a bunch of like flyers that we were passing out, and he picked them up for me.
Oh, that's
Nice of him. Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to vote for me. Right?
He's cleaning up the environment.
It's
Senator-
creepy though.
so
So like
Senator
this dude,
Todd, you've
this
got,
guy
like,
like literally
nice
like
guys.
follows you around with the phone on. and
What's
just-
Yeah, it was
the
weird.
What's the end goal for like to?
they're,
Right.
they're doing
Dirt
nothing right
or-
now. Yeah, they want to like call. They want to be like Mayor Tom, I think you're a jerk, and then they want me to say something back.
Oh no, they want Mayor
Or they want
Tom
to
said a
clip
bad
something.
word.
You clip. They want to get a clip
If
of
I
some
say something
speech,
stupid, right, you know.
He
put it in
says
a,
stupid stuff on
Like
this
if I
podcast
said
all
like,
the time.
oh, you know, Nancy Pelosi and I were talking, you know, and then they would just clip that part
and
oh,
put that in a
Nancy
commercial.
Pelosi and
Yes,
Mayor Tom,
a friend
or-
of Nancy,
right,
friend of
right.
Nancy,
friend of
Pelosi.
Nancy, no friend of Indiana? Question mark. You know, it's like bull crap like
You're giving
that.
them. You know, this is a live podcast. You're
I know.
giving them good stuff.
Well, dude, they
Dad's
have
really
hours.
good at making sound bits
That's
that
right.
people can take out
I have a special
context.
talent. I have a special talent in
It's
that regard.
really good.
Think about it though.
making bad
The
sound
thing
bits.
about LOCPOD that's great is we're 101 episodes.
Yes.
We did like an hour and 15 minutes each show, so they have
So
hundreds of
much
hours of
content.
material.
They're
to
like
go
licking
through.
their chops.
I know, but like that's a big job. He's going to
Yeah.
spend $1 million going through every LOCPOD episode.
You know what? When they find us talking about the when you die.
That's good. He's probably going to float that bill.
Because Tom and I had a Tom and I had a discussion.
I
He's
think
like,
most
"There's
people
no
that
way
hear
we
my-
talked about this before," and I said, "I think we did."
No, we did not.
So when
It was
Todd
on the
Young
radio.
finds it, can you let me know?
It was
please?
on the radio.
All right.
Tom's Thun Roll for Dating.
WMCD.
That's right. Okay, so after
Where
South-
else did you go?
I went to Indianapolis for a few meetings. You know, got to go to the state's capital,
Sure.
obviously. I met with IBEW and important Democratic political leaders. Let's just
Very
leave it at
nice.
that. Like people that could help raise money.
That's important in
And
this
people that
race.
are important for decision-making purposes, and they know who to talk to, and they sort of, like I feel
Giving
like
you
I'm,
some advice.
like in the region, I have people come to me a lot and say, what do you think I should go next?
Right,
What
that's
should I
right.
do?
Who do
What
I
do
need
I
to
do
see?
not to piss off somebody?
Right.
These are they're like gatekeepers. They'll tell me like, this is the way through. Oh, you haven't talked to this person yet? You got to talk to this person tomorrow. Like they're the people that help me like that. And they're
It's
great
like
people.
it's like map guys. Like
yeah.
people that
I'm
know
lucky
the
to be
map.
able to talk to like, and that's one of the cool things about this race so far is I'm talking to like the top dogs who I've really had little interaction with my whole career. I've known them and they know me, but now I'm like in a different role.
Never had to talk to you about political strategy.
No, because they never.
Right.
I was never in this role before, where I'm going to be representing the party, and you know they want to make sure that I'm doing it the right way, so that I have the biggest team possible.
That's awesome. And so the other stop you made was a great. Wow, talk about a. I love the way you
Well,
started
no,
your speech.
you're missing.
By the way,
You're missing.
oh,
I did
What'd you
New
do?
Palestine,
oh, I forgot about that.
which is like if you look at 465, it's like 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you 12 is north, it's like 4 p.m. on 465. It's on the outer ring. You go outside of the ring. But New Palestine, back in the day, I used to have a girlfriend that lived in New Palestine, like a
Wow.
long time ago, way before.
You didn't see her though.
No, I
What were you out there
actually
for?
don't even remember her name. It was a long time ago. Actually, I was thinking that. I was like, I remember. I think I
What was
remember
New
her first
Palestine?
name. New Palestine was Central Indiana Building Trades.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you saw some union guys.
I saw a lot of union guys because I talked to IBEW a couple days before that in Indianapolis.
Very
So
nice.
I talked to a lot of union guys.
And how's the reception been?
Oh, the union guys, they were all giving me their cards and stuff.
They're probably like, yeah, he
We
didn't vote
love
for the
the
infrastructure.
unions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we do.
Infrastructure bill and ARPs, huge topics of conversation when I'm talking to
I bet.
working men and women of Indiana, because they want to go to work and they want more work. And Todd Young's voting against that work, and it's ringing. You know, it's scoring points.
I think it is. I mean, and by the way, voting against it just because our former president like threatened him
That's right.
and threatened
Like
all
Donald-
Republicans.
Right. So, like, you know, when I'm in Shelby County, I'd say things like, you know, Shelby County gets $8.6 million from the American Recovery Plan, and everybody's like clapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and you're going to do great things, like, going to speed up your internet, and you're going to create new roads and bridges, and you're going to, you're going to do a lot of great things, and you're going to put the men and women of our building trades back to work again. Everybody's like, and I'm like,
love
and
the
the
clapping.
infrastructure plan that Todd Young voted against would bring probably twice or 3 times what the ARP brought to Shelby County.
Mm-hmm.
And how many more great things could you do with that money? But Todd Young voted against it.
You're
And
like,
everybody's-
yeah, they're like, boo.
And it's everything I'm saying is a fact.
We'll talk about Shelby County. That was a great invite, by the way.
Yeah,
It's cool to hit the road.
It was their JJ, and I
What's
was
a
there.
JJ?
Jefferson Jackson dinner. It's a Democratic thing. This is most of the counties do JJ dinners. I think Lake County does a little different.
Yep, Lake
but-
County does a little different. Porter.
But everybody, it's the annual get together basically.
Right.
And there's
I love the way so he starts his speech off with, you weren't kidding about this fried chicken. And I was thinking, because right?
It was good though, right?
How good was that meal?
It was really good.
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah, and I usually don't eat at fundraisers, but this was a sit down.
Yep.
And so we went and we ate, and I was, but usually
You
I
met a lot of nice people.
I try not to eat at fundraisers because that's a recipe for a bigger waistline.
Mm-hmm.
And but I did at this one because I didn't want to be rude. Wow, it rocked. That was a good dinner.
So it's nice to be in Shelbyville again.
Love Shelbyville.
Yeah.
Got a great reception.
Bob Williams, the chairman, thank you.
I've been tinkering with my speech And I have a new speech, obviously, to running for Senate, and I'm tinkering with it. And the first time I gave that speech was in South Bend. I liked it, what I did, but I didn't like some things. And then I tightened it up a little bit when I went before the IBEW. No, excuse me, when I went before the building trades of Central Indiana. And then I think by Shelbyville, I'm starting to get where I want to go with it, and I'm more comfortable with it. And Thursday, I got a fundraiser at the Hammond Civic Center. It's going to be a big event. It's the St. Patrick's Day, halfway to St. Patrick's Day party.
Yes.
And I'm going to give the speech again. I think by then I'll be all over
Ready
it.
to roll. So if you want to go to the fundraiser, please go to gomcdermott.com.
Hey, by the way, I got a response from Senator Young.
Finally.
I know, dude.
He's going to box you?
No, he didn't. He didn't respond to that. I know. I challenged a guy to a celebrity boxing match, crickets, right?
Nothing.
And then I've said a lot of things about him voting against ARP, crickets. Infrastructure, crickets. The one that got him.
Yes.
I said, Todd Young's only been to Hammond one time in his 6-year term.
And they were like,
That's what he responded to.
That's what he responded to.
like, no, I was there like 8 times.
No, he did. He said, I've been there 5 times since
I thought I heard
2015.
Yeah.
5 times since 2015. I'm
Well, I
like,
thought
you
it
should have
was
just shut
funny.
up, actually. Because that's not that impressive.
And by the
5
way,
times.
it
You
would,
said
how many times
once
he,
since 2016. You
5.
said once since 2016 in the news article, and then
Right.
he was like, "I've been there 5 times since 2015," which means he could have gone there like 4 times in
During the
2015.
campaign.
So he went there 5 times in 2015.
Thank you, Senator.
Wait,
And everywhere he went was like big business. I went to Unilever.
Well,
I went to the
many,
casino.
and how many times
It's
did he
like,
let you know he was coming?
None.
Yeah.
No, one time because he was
'Cause he's
my
in your office, right.
Yeah. What's on?
Where did he respond to you?
In
with
the
this?
article, they
Wow.
called him, and I think that's the one that got him.
Okay.
He's like, "Damn it, I've been there 5 times, not once." Oh, thanks, Todd. You could,
What about the boxing
he
match?
probably counted like driving on 8094 through the
I've
city.
been through
as-
there. I've seen that big
I
flag.
drove through it on my way to Chicago for a fancy fundraiser, and I counted that as a trip to Hammond.
Well, you finally got a response.
Yes.
He's alive.
He's
he knows I'm
alive.
alive.
The chink
By
in
the
the
way,
armor.
by the way,
That's right.
here's what I would say.
Yeah?
He's got a tracker. He's starting to respond.
I got a tracker. He responded.
Yeah, and it's like,
I think any moment now, him and I are going to be in the ring together fighting.
Apparently.
he's going to come back. He's probably
He's training.
I know, dude.
I just think, I mean, if
would
you got
be
a
so
tracker
epic.
already,
No, you know what?
there's
Honestly,
some concern about you, I would think.
I'm straight up withdrawing my offer
Oh.
to challenge him to a
It's
celebrity.
off.
It's off.
What?
Yeah,
Done.
dude. I can't leave that hanging out there forever. I'm getting fatter by the day.
What if
Keep
he
in mind,
accepts?
when I made that challenge, I was in a triathlon training.
And now,
Right?
now you're on the campaign trail getting
No,
fried chicken.
Eating fried chicken. And
Yeah.
potatoes and like, no. I withdraw. Todd Young, I withdraw my challenge.
Now he's going to respond.
Yeah, right. But if he responds back, I'll start training again.
All right. Well, let's
But my offer is withdrawn officially.
let's finish up
In
our
contract law, Kevin, we cannot have a contract
rescission.
now. It's a rescission? Thank you.
Or is it a Marissa will correct me.
Withdrawn offer.
Yes, it's the offer is withdrawn.
Thank you. There you go, Todd.
It's not a rescission because
Celebrity boxing match is off.
There's no contracts. You can't have rescission.
I'm good.
All right, let's do some ads, pay some bills, and come back and talk about COVID.
Let's do some tortillas Nuevo Leon. What do you think about that?
Ready, John?
Yum.
I could
Let's make
chow.
sure the audience can hear the song.
All right, let's just play the song.
It's been working a couple times. I mean, past couple
All
times.
right.
You want to hear it now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
what the
play
hell?
it.
Here we go.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
You forgot the yeehaw. You want to do it now?
Yeehaw!
All right,
There you
beautiful.
go.
Wow, that
Because
was
Kevin screwed me up, Lindsay.
good. Yeah, I got.
I'm
it's
like in the
distracted.
zone. I'm in the zone here, trying to like
Get ready for the yeehaw.
operate at a high level like I'm always doing, and then Kevin screwed me up. Right
What did he
before my
call you?
yeehaw. Yeah, he,
I called him. Actually, it was right at this moment, 8:23.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
should have called you.
I wasn't listening.
A Challenger Learning Center. Explore the far reaches of space and engage in hands-on learning at Challenger Learning Center of Northwest Indiana. Connecting with Challenger NWI is easy. To learn more about Challenger Center and their upcoming events, visit clcnwi.com. That's clcnwi.com, or connect on social media at Challenger NWI on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Misprint. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality science and printing on time and within budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions you can count on. Rick Baltensberger and his team have served Chicagoland and the Northwest Indiana area for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations located in Munster and in Hammond. And I have a copy of
Whoa.
card right here.
Oh,
See?
The
man.
metal. Wow.
All right, check
The
that
metal
out.
card.
Ching. Yeah, it's great, right?
All right, be quiet. Let's do it again.
Ready? Here, hold on.
Ready. Wow.
That was-
ASMR.
Wait, let me try the QR code.
Okay. Oh, you do the QR code.
This is exciting.
Do the one on the back.
Live on air.
It's so shiny.
What if it
Yeah,
takes you to
right
like
like
a
that.
porn site?
Right
Wouldn't
like
that be
that.
a funny joke?
That would be a funny. Yeah.
That's really cool. Look, right like that, John.
Look at
Went
that.
right to the donate page.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
I'm
Very
gonna.
cool.
We're having trouble with the front QR code.
Can I try
It's
it?
too small. It doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work at all.
Oh.
Yeah. That's sorry, Rick.
Oh no.
Rick's like, this is my commercial. Why did you knew it didn't work? Why did you do
I
that?
just
Now
wanted to
he's
see if it
calling
did.
him
It
out.
worked.
It did work.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did work.
doesn't.
Just take a
believe
little
me.
bit. Well, he's getting you a new one
It's too long. We
with a
need
bigger
to-
QR code.
We need one with a bigger.
That
QR.
is awesome.
So I'm going to
though.
leave that right there.
All right.
That's
Okay.
really neat.
This will
Really
be
cool.
Is it?
Yeah, why don't you do it like portrait style so it's like tall?
California
have a big-
style.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Going like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On both sides.
I learned from Marissa.
Good job, Lindsay.
I'm the best.
You
Yeah,
are-
that looks
you're
like more like a
pretty
business
What is
card,
she, a
though.
pro
I
in
know, but
designing
you know what?
metal
That is a good
business
way out
cards?
of it.
Yeah.
Of
I don't like that
the
because the
dilemma.
logo would be small along the top.
Who cares?
I like it like this.
You're,
But
if you're,
you're
talking
not giving
to
it to
Tom
anyone.
McDermott,
But like
Right.
he likes it how it doesn't work. I like it.
Well,
not
no, I
working.
would- I would like
I'd
it
rather
to
have
work.
it not working than flipped over and actually working.
Well, anyway,
You understand?
It's cool.
Yeah, Kevin's difficult to deal with, John. I have to do this shit all the time.
I
you know.
think he's
Jana
the main
and I.
reason
I'm aware.
why
Jana
you're,
and I should have a medal for what we put up with.
It's working.
Me
Right,
too.
Jana?
You
Jana
know what?
and I.
I think
We're
Kevin should
sisters.
have a
You know what?
award.
I'm just going to tell our sponsors that, like Rick, I actually like it. I
I
mean,
like it
as
too.
critical as
I
the mayor
love
is
it. I've
about
been carrying it. I just wanted to like work every time.
You
like,
will.
like quickly. Like the back one works great, and I think Lindsay came up with a good suggestion, and Kevin just shit on it.
Well,
Right?
no,
Lindsay?
I'm just
Wow.
saying. I'm just saying.
Rude.
I
He
like.
just shit on it. Like
To me, that
you
looks
know.
like a business card.
It does look like a business card, except for the purpose is the
but
QR
it's not a
code.
business card. It's a QR code card.
Rick said.
Can
he's
you hold that
working
up
on a new
again,
one.
Tom? Can you hold that up again for the camera?
Rick
So-
said he's working on a new one.
Chat, what do you think? Tom wants the logo vertical. Or like that.
That's Lindsay. Lindsay's idea was like that, which is
Will be
solid.
a bigger
Because the
QR
problem is
code.
this QR code works if you hold it there for like a minute.
So here's what's
Which
happening.
is too long.
Just so you know.
Like I'm in an awkward conversation, like, hey, just flash your phone on here, and then they do it, and I'm like, let's wait a minute now. We'll both like
can I
pose
explain
like
to you
this,
what's
right?
happening?
Yes.
So he's shrinking the logo a little bit, and the QR code's going to be all on the right side.
Good.
And it's
down
going
with
to
that.
work.
Okay.
So the
I don't
logo's
know
going to
that I
be
like that.
smaller
You're being stubborn
anyway.
now.
I don't think I like that, Kevin.
All right. Well, then call Rick quickly because he's already fabricating.
No,
it.
Rick is like working overnight on
He's
this. so-
chiseling
Right
it.
now, he's like. Right
He's
now, he's
chiseling.
just screaming. He's
Chiseling
screaming
the
right
QR
now.
Stop
that is
the presses.
cool.
By the way, for those of you that are going to want a metal business card, Rick specializes in metal business cards now.
That's right. From metal business, from wrapping cars to metal business cards.
Yeah, no job is too big or too small.
Rick Balzenberger. All
Let's
right.
bring- Hey, we
Byway
made-
Brewing.
Oh,
Don't forget Byway.
Last one.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. They're conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu.
We made some news this week, bro.
Yeah, you did.
Let's talk with John.
Couple
Because
times.
John's got to be salty about this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing it because I want to make John salty, though. I'm doing it because I love him. I love John.
It can be both.
I do. I want to nicely encourage people to do the right thing. So what I'm doing
Without
is
mandating.
without mandating, because I don't feel it's, obviously we approach a whole new area. And by the way, without making changes to the healthcare plan, which is probably something people are going to start considering down the road. Like if you're a heavy smoker and they charge you more for your health insurance premiums because you're a heavy smoker, that they could justify that. It's like heavy
Interesting.
smokers traditionally cost us more, right? So let's-
Unvaccinated people are going to cost us more.
if you go to the hospital, they
Interesting
certainly
point.
will.
I did not think
right?
about that.
If you go to the hospital, you'll certainly cost our health plan. We're self-insured more. So without getting into that murky area about changing healthcare plans to reflect the unvaccinated versus vaccinated, without going there, without mandating vaccines, what could we do in the city of Hammond to help encourage people? First, we did the 3 days off. Take 3 days off. If you get the vaccine before this date, we'll give you 3 days off. No questions asked. You have to be fully vaccinated, though, right? And a number of our employees took advantage of that. Okay. And then we still found a persistent, let's say 50% or so that didn't get it, even
Wow.
with the 3 days off. So now we're like, okay, what can we do to further encourage?
Well, one of the things that I know that came up was, there was a little bit of a lull over the early summer, and then the Delta variant kind of kicked in,
Right.
And all of a sudden, it was somewhat dangerous again, and it was spreading, right? So I think you were like, okay, what can we do to once again encourage vaccination
Without punishing.
without mandating?
So you keep in mind now, during 2020, we didn't know what we were dealing with. Nobody could get the vaccine. There was no vaccine. And let's say that Kevin becomes positive and he's an employee of the city. Okay. What we would do is say, Kevin, you got to go home for, 10 days?
Yeah, 14.
14.
10 or 14.
So I lost
14
Kevin.
at the
Was it
beginning.
14? Yeah, you're
14,
right, John.
thanks.
7 to 10 now. Yeah.
Yep.
So Kevin would go home for 2 weeks and he didn't lose his pay. We covered it. So we lost hundreds of employee
You're
hours.
talking about pre-vaccine.
Pre-vaccine.
Yeah.
Thousands of employee hours. Because people would be positive, they would be confirmed with the test. We'd send them home, and we'd cover them, man. We didn't dock you. We didn't make you use vacation or sick. We didn't make you do any of that. Nobody knew what we were dealing with.
It's
we were
a
all in the same
pandemic.
boat, right? So, I mean, thousands of man hours of Hammond City man hours were lost with that policy, which was the right policy. It was the right policy, okay? And, John was never sick with it. Not that I could even talk about HIPAA. But, like, what I'm saying is, it happened to a number of people.
Yeah, it did.
Positive, not necessarily getting sick. They were just positive, and they had to get away so they didn't spread it, and we dealt with it, right? So now here we are. We have the shot available to all Americans at this point, and there's a number of people, in America, including the city of Hammond, that don't want to get the vaccine for a number of reasons, okay? Whether it's religious, whether it's they don't trust the government, whatever the reason is. Political, whatever the reason
health
is.
reasons.
They don't want to get the vaccine, and that's fine. There's no mandate. Right. However, in the city of Hammond, I'm like, what happens if some employee that doesn't want to get the vaccine gets sick?
Or conversely, what if somebody that gets a vaccine that's followed kind of your encouragement?
That's right.
And gets sick.
Right.
Has a breakthrough case.
So are we going to continue to cover the unvaccinated employee, even though they probably could have protected themselves with just one shot and avoided possibly missing 2 weeks of work?
Or conversely, what do you do with a vaccinated person who gets sick?
Right.
Right. Who gets positive?
So we made a change, and it was somewhat controversial.
Well, it made the paper.
Front page,
Is that-
A1.
Does that mean it's controversial?
Executive order made it's A1. No, I think it's somewhat controversial. Have you seen any other policies that
I
mirror
have
this?
not. Yeah. I mean,
So
you're
we're sort
definitely
of
leading
out in front.
You're leading the charge.
By the way, I think that's what leaders are supposed to do. When you're in a pandemic, I'm supposed to lead, and I realize, you have to make decisions, and we're in a war, basically. We're in a war with the germ right now, and we got to do the right thing. And it's my job. I've been placed in charge of the city of Hammond, and the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens and the employees, and I'm doing my job without a mandate at this point. But now we're just saying, hey, everybody's on notice. So if you're a city of Hammond employee and you choose not to get vaccinated, that's your choice. However, if you get sick with COVID, you're burning vacation, you're burning personal, you're burning sick, and if you don't got anything left,
FMLA.
you're not getting paid.
Right.
And so now another employee who's vaccinated did all the right things and gets sick and goes to the hospital with a breakthrough case, we'll continue to cover him.
All right. And
That's
I think
the policy.
that was one of your executive orders. The other one was you extended the time for people to get vaccinated and
For the
take
3 days
advantage of
off.
3 days off.
That's right.
Till October. And again, that was because you had canceled that, or not canceled it. It expired, I think, at the end of July or August, and now you reinstated it because, again, I think you want to encourage people to get vaccinated now that cases are kind of on the uptick or were on the uptick.
Right.
John, how do you feel about that?
I don't understand it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be honest.
No, that's fine. I mean,
Because
I'm not obviously
No.
we're talking as friends here.
Yeah.
That's
we're
it.
not
No one's
talk
going
about
to
it.
change
No, I
someone's
agree.
mind. But
Right.
what I don't understand is in both scenarios, you get COVID because we know now that getting the vaccine does not immunize you from infection. You can still get it. So in both scenarios, you get sick. In both scenarios, you
but
have
lowers
to
the
quarantine.
chance significantly.
But it does. But we're talking
John,
about sick
no,
days.
no.
You have to quarantine still. You have
John,
to. What?
John, you're like Kevin has an important point. You're talking about like 100-to-1 ratio of the number of quarantined people that get sick with COVID versus the unquarantined people that get sick with
That's
COVID.
why it's called a breakthrough.
Unvaccinated.
Unvaccinated, excuse me.
Yeah.
But like if you look in a hospital ER right now, you're going to find 98% of the people in there are unvaccinated.
But
and
Tom, I don't know what to believe anymore because you see what's going on in Israel, one of those vaccinated countries on the planet, and they're having a huge spike in COVID cases. So most of that
how do
country
you
is
know it, though,
vaccinated.
John? I hear a lot of people that are experts on medical that don't understand medical, and I don't understand medical.
John, just to clarify, are you saying a huge, because I think it's an important point, are you saying a huge spike in cases or a huge spike in hospitalizations and death?
Cases.
Okay, yeah, see, and that's the difference,
cases-
right? Cases,
No,
cases
it's not
on
the
some-
difference. In this scenario, you get COVID, period, and you have to quarantine, period.
Yes,
Right.
and we'll cover you if you're vaccinated. Period.
I think what he's trying to bring up is the fact that he's equating the ability to get the virus is equal in both parties when it's not. You are more likely to get COVID if you're unvaccinated. However, if you're vaccinated, there's still a risk, but
Right.
it is, you could still spread it. You can still,
Right.
So
you're saying breakthrough cases are not as common
in
as
vaccinated.
unvaccinated people.
Correct.
True.
Okay, I would like to see some data on that.
Have to do some research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's in place.
It's frustrating for me that, like, one of the really frustrating things about America nowadays, and I'm not talking about John, I'm talking in general here,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, I may be vaccinated. I'm not saying I am,
hope
or
you do.
I am
I
not
hope you do.
anymore,
We don't-
by the way.
I hope you are.
we
But
don't,
what I'm
we don't
okay.
ask those personal questions.
But like one of the frustrating things for me about America 2021, okay, is how many people are ignorant and think that because they read something on Facebook or they read something even on a blog or whatever, and they spout that as fact, and they act like because they have a loud voice and they're assertive that I'm right and this is the way it is, and you have no training. Like WMCD has an afternoon host who literally talks as though he's a medical opinion, his medical doctor, and the guy has a communications degree from Purdue Northwest. And he talks as though he's like an expert on medical and inoculations and vaccines, and nobody calls him out on his bullshit. It's like, what gives you the right to say that? You have a communications degree from PNW. Like, I'm a lawyer, and I don't talk about medicine like I'm an expert, and I went to 7 years of college. And I don't talk about medicine like I'm an expert, and I'm not. I talk to doctors about that. If my doctor tells me, get the shot, he did. I get the damn shot because he's a doctor.
And it does seem like the overwhelming, of course, there's always going to be outliers, or I don't want to call them outliers. There's always going to be a difference of opinion. But it seems like the overwhelming majority of scientists and medical professionals are saying, get the shot.
Right. And not only that, it goes to even global warming. That global warming is not real. What gives you the right to say that, Sam? PNW degree, communications? You're an expert on the ozone layer, too? Like, shut the hell up. You have a... Like, I love PNW. That's where I went, okay? I got a finance degree, okay? And then I went to Notre Dame for 3 years, and I got a JD. I don't know shit about the ozone layer.
Climatologist.
I'm not a climatologist, but I know one thing. I see fires every season now. I see hurricanes happening more frequently. These rainstorms, these once-a-century rainstorms happen every, like, 3 or 4 years now. I know these things. There's something happening, but I can't tell you about the ozone layer, but there's something going on. Can't we all agree?
Yeah, I think good rule of thumb is don't get your news or beliefs off of Facebook,
or
do
just
some
just call people
independent
out on their
research.
bullshit. Like when they don't know what the hell they're talking about. No offense. Like ask me. I'm not going to give you my medical opinion because I don't know shit about medicine. I'm not qualified to give you that. You ask me questions about the law, I may be qualified to help you out. You ask me questions about finance or government, I could help you out with that. You ask me a question about medicine, inoculations, the ozone layer, I don't know anything. I rely on experts for these things.
100% agree with you, Tom.
It's disturbing.
The problem with internet and social media is you can think anything as
Agreed.
crazy as possible and
Agreed.
find something online that backs you up.
Agree, John.
But what
online is bullshit, though, John.
I understand, but just to go back to this topic, what I'm concerned about is, and I'm not talking about the people who say, I'm not getting vaccinated because F you. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are saying, I have a religious concern about it. I have a genuine concern about a side effect, even though when it is FDA approved now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a concern that you're not fully immunized by getting the vaccine. That's what I'm concerned about. Is now those people who are sincere in their concerns are lepers. They're like just grouped in with the whoever else.
I just hope, by the way, I have family members that aren't vaccinated, okay? Obviously can't get into details, okay? And, I just pray every day that they don't get sick. I do. I'm scared. And for my friends that aren't vaccinated, I'm scared for them. Like, it scares the shit out of me that I'm going to lose a loved one. I've already known 2 or 3 people pass from COVID.
Yep.
Okay? And, I don't want to lose any more friends to this. It's a plague. And we're in a pandemic, and we can't even agree right now. This is how broken our country is.
I think all you're doing, Tom, is trying to encourage people to because you have the opinion that you should get vaccinated, and you're trying to encourage city workers and employees to get vaccinated without mandating it.
We're in a pandemic. I think that you should get vaccinated, and we're slowly inching towards making people uncomfortable. Because at first it started off, we'll give you 3 days off. Then we extend it. And now we're like, okay, if you get sick, we're going to treat you different. We're making a progression towards one day. I don't think it's far off. Just like when I was in the service and they gave me 6 shots at once. They didn't ask my opinion. They just did it.
You got to go to school. You got to get vaccinated. And I think
That's right.
hopefully as time goes on and more research is done. I mean, the FDA approved Pfizer. Obviously, that's a good step. As time goes on, I hope that people become more confident in the vaccine and get inoculated. So,
and to Tom's credit, by the way, one of the quotes in the article is, "Look, if someone, just paraphrasing, if someone has a genuine concern, we'll take that case by case."
That's right.
And that's fair. You know, you can't. And John, I think the point there is just going back to how it was written and when we wrote it. Is that you don't want to necessarily write every scenario into the executive
You can't.
order.
It's so gray.
No,
There is no black and white.
You have to be vague, sort of. You know?
That if scenarios come up, I think the mayor will
But what if
look
somebody
at those individually?
Like, let's say I've known somebody for a long time and known them never to be a religious person, and now suddenly they're religious and they don't want to get the shot. It's like, how do you guard against situations like that, right?
That's why you have to be careful, because you can't say religious exemption and then they
Right.
get some.
And then everybody's suddenly religious.
Phil Talon, who's become a pastor probably 18 times online, signs it.
He can marry you.
Phil's
Pastor.
giving away religious exemptions for COVID, for $5, I think. John. All right, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Good to see you
back.
guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good
Great
show.
job today, Kevin. Great job
Show
today, John.
101.
Thank you, Linz. Show 101.
Should put CI up, John.
We have 101 plus hours of entertainment out there for you. If you're sick of waiting twice a week, you can go back and some of the shows were really good back in the day.
Yeah, we've gotten so bad over the years.
I liked it when we first started when Lindsay and John didn't talk. Those are the best shows. in my
Oh, wow,
opinion.
Linz.
Yeah, they were great. Back in the good old days.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got these microphones, these extra ones, but
You paid for them, so
And we have a camera on you now.
yeah,
Which
I
we
know.
like. We like Lindsay Cam.
Lindsay Cam.
Love Lindsay Cam.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to LOCPOD. We'll be back on Tuesday. We got. I'm not sure if we have a guest lined up, but we'll be back with more shenanigans. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.